Today's the day we all get the hammer, right? The coach has a big time to see who's gonna dance with me the next time we give the hammer out, right? Who's it gonna be? That every time we got 7 or 8 guys that are contesting to get up there with the big cheese, right? And then finally, today's the day that no matter what is going on, thick or thin, we stay united and we're positive. There's not any no faces, there's not any woe is me faces. There is positive all the way until the victory's here, and then we bring our butts in here, we jump around like crazy. Why not?
That's right.
Today's the day.
Let's go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chrysler Center for tonight's matchup featuring the visiting Indiana Hoosiers and your University of Michigan Wolverines. At this time, we ask that you please rise. Gentlemen, please remove your hats and join us in singing as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. The colors are presented tonight by the University of Michigan Tri-Service ROTC, and the anthem is performed by the Michigan Pep Band. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we welcome you to Chrysler Center for tonight's matchup featuring the Indiana Hoosiers and your University of Michigan Wolverines. And now, here's the starting lineups for tonight's game. At guard for Indiana, number 1, Jordan Holmes. At guard for Michigan, a 5'11" freshman from Columbus, Ohio, number 3, Trey Burke. At forward for the Hoosiers, number 2, Christian Watford. At guard for Michigan, a 6'6" sophomore from Miami, Florida, number 10, Tim Hardaway Jr. At center for the Hoosiers, number 40, Cody Zeller. At center for Michigan, a 6'8" sophomore from Detroit, number 52, Jordan Morgan. At forward for the Hoosiers, number 10, Will Sheehy. At guard for Michigan, a 6'3" senior, the pride of Carmel, Indiana, number 1, Stu Douglas. At guard for the Hoosiers, number 12, Verdell Jones III. And at guard for Michigan, a 6'4" senior from Chesterton, Indiana, number 0, Zach Novak. The head coach for Indiana is Tom Crean. Assistant coaches for Michigan are LaValle Jordan, Bakari Alexander, and Jeff Meyer. And the head coach for your University of Michigan Wolverines, now in his 5th season, John Beeline.
to be. You're watching Big Ten Men's Basketball Super Wednesday presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, where tonight it's the Indiana Hoosiers, ranked 20th in the nation, against the Michigan Wolverines. And let's take a look at the Big Ten standings. Ohio State rolling now, 4 wins in a row, 7-2 in conference play. Wisconsin also a red-hot basketball team as well. Gus Johnson, Sean Moore is with you, and partner, great atmosphere, 2 very good basketball teams. We may see a real game tonight.
I'm really excited about this ball game, and it means a lot for both squads. This is a tremendous opportunity, Gus, for Indiana to go on the road and get a signature win. We've talked about the wins at home versus Kentucky and Ohio State. They have a chance to add a feather to their cap with a big road win here today.
As you take a look at Tom Crean for this Michigan team, moments ago, assistant coach Bakari Alexander had an interesting way of getting his team fired up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are
Michigan.
We value
Wolverine excellence.
And we're going to go out there with a lot of intensity and a lot of togetherness because we want to be
Champions.
Coaches, hammer time.
Let's go.
And he doesn't mean MC Hammer, he means sledgehammer, Sean Moore.
I don't want my wife to see that. That may be the way I get to cut the grass. That thing banging me on the head.
Jordan Morgan. Cody Zeller in the circle. And we're underway from Chrysler. IU controlling the ball. What should we pay attention to early on in this game, Sean?
How Michigan defends Cody Zeller. He's such a difficult matchup because of his ability to find open shooters. A great example in Sheehy there.
Will Sheehy making his second start of the season. He started against Iowa as the Hoosiers dismantled the Hawkeyes 103-89. Michigan coming off a 64-49 loss to Ohio State. Ohio State's 4th straight win. Wolverines gave up 14 offensive rebounds. Hardaway rising fire, and he misses his first shot. Zeller with the board. Zeller coming off a monster 26-point game against the Hawkeyes.
The big reason for that win over Iowa, 58 points in the paint for Indiana on Sunday afternoon.
On the baseline, Watford. That ball knocked away, squirts toward the sideline and out of bounds, and will stay right here.
Michigan showed a lot of different defenses against another post player on Sunday in Jared Sellinger, giving the freshman Cody Zeller a different look with the double team coming from Stu Douglas that time.
These 2 teams met on January 5th in Bloomington. IU winning at 73-71. Watford with 25 points on 8 of 11 shooting, 7 rebounds in 33 minutes. Now Hall squirts through a hole, loose ball picked up by Burke. Hard push.
Great job of blocking out by Novak.
Burke spinning, oh! The young man from Columbus, Ohio. One of the most talented freshman point guards in the nation, and Michigan's on the board.
Poor job defensive transition right there by Indiana, Gus. They didn't do a good job of stopping the basketball, and the freshman Trey Burke made them pay in transition.
Verdell Jones coming off a 14-point, 9-assist game against Iowa. Indiana with over 20 assists in that ball game. Zeller turnaround jumper. Loose ball, Novak with a rebound.
Nice job by Morgan of pushing Zeller out away from the block.
Douglas across the lane, hard.
And in that losing effort in Columbus, Gus, really no attacking of the basket by Michigan is reflected by the fact the Wolverines only shot 4 free throws. Obviously a point of emphasis here today. Both baskets going right toward the rim.
Hall steps out, ball fake, rises, off the heel. Zeller, nice rebound. Now the Hoosiers will get a new shot clock. Cody to the basket. Morgan pulls it down. Here comes Douglas again. He's got, make that Novak. Up top, Burke. Trey Burke. Michigan off to a terrific start. 7-zip, IU 0 for 5 to start. Hoosiers a little tight. And out of bounds.
Nice active hands, and it started with the freshman Trey Burke in transition. They don't stop the ball. Excellent use of the spin move and the conversion at the rim. And then in transition, nice job by Stu Douglas of turning the corner. No help there in the red jerseys for Indiana.
So Sheehy in for Oladipo. Oladipo now coming off the bench for this Indiana team. 6 to shoot. Jones inside. Watford to Sheehy. Can't hold on. Out of bounds.
And again, a different defensive look, Gus, that time down the floor by Michigan. They forced Indiana to the sideline. They trapped the passer. Pretty good catch in traffic by Watford, but a little bit too high on the feed to Sheehy.
But Michigan had asked for a better start. Now Burke inside, Hardaway. The kick, Burke again.
And a great job of recognition by Michigan there. Indiana employed a 2-3 zone. Hardaway got right in the gut of it, kicked it back out. That'll load the open 3 for Burke.
Burke 3 for 3, 8 points already. And Indiana rattled to start. The Hoosiers 0 for 5, 2 turnovers. And Tom Crean may want to talk things over.
Oh, well, he signaled for one. They didn't give it to him. He's going to wait for the TV timeout. The media timeout is coming, but boy, I really thought I saw Coach Crean signal for one.
It'll happen at the 16-minute mark or under. Novak left-handed on the wheel and out of bounds. Now we'll take a break. 15:54 to play in the first half. Trey Burke really playing well. And Trey Burke off to a great start in this game.
Nice job of dribbling with a purpose toward the rim, then able to spot up and knock down a 3 on a good feed from Tim Hardaway Jr. against the 2-3 zone being employed in that particular situation by Indiana. Michigan 4 of 5 from the floor. Indiana 0 of 5, and this is a Hoosier team, Gus, that leads the conference in field goal percentage, making half their offerings from the floor.
Wolverines with the basketball. Burke inbounding on the baseline. Douglas catches the inbounds pass, and now Burke will start it on the wing. Burke slicing, almost lost it. Douglas, the kick deep, Novak lefty.
Really a nice job by Stu Douglas of using a little bit of a ball fake and then an eyebrow fake to get the Indiana defender to buy it. That allowed Novak to spot up in the left corner.
Zach Novak is a 41% three-point shooter on the season. And Michigan takes a 13-0 lead, and finally, the Hoosiers on the board as Christian Watford knocks down a mid-range J.
Nice job by Watford of creating space with the dribble, knocking down that mid-range jump shot, but even that one was not easy for Indiana.
Burke on the baseline. Now Hardaway. Last year when these two teams faced each other here in Michigan, the Hoosiers trailed by as many as 20, but came back and made it a game. Burke, look at him in the open court, to the bucket.
Well, how about how many times he made the backpedaling defender Holes change direction? I mean, his head was on a swivel, and Burke sensed it and just went right at him.
Michigan with 8 points off turnovers. Burke 4 for 4, 10 points already. 15-2. Let's see if they go inside to Zeller. Sheehy turns it over again. 2-on-1. Burke with Douglas. Burke to Douglas. Up. Snatched down by Verdell Jones. He'll rake it and take it. Holes inside. The teardrop goes down.
Nice job by Holes. Didn't settle for the quick 3. Came in under control and went right at the gut of the Michigan defense.
This Indiana team, they are a tough bunch of Hoosiers. Although their road record in the conference, not where they want it to be. Their only road victory against Penn State. But Indiana will not go away quietly. Burke turns the corner again. Douglas downtown. Zeller with a rebound. For jump shot. And Morgan, nice job clearing out. Zeller used a forearm shiver.
Nice job by Morgan of taking Zeller underneath the rim.
13:09 to play, 15-4.
Good job by Hulls moving his feet.
Hardaway. Michigan 4 of 6 from the three-point line. On the season, they're a 34% three-point shooting team. Meanwhile, Zeller travels. And that is the 5th turnover for IU in the first half.
What a really nice job of honoring the scouting report by Michigan there. They know the quickness that Cody Zeller can employ down there on the block, and he likes that spin move. They forced him into the spin move. The double team came over from the weak side from Hardaway, leading to the turnover.
Tom Pritchard, Derek Elston, and Victor Oladipo come in, so Tom Crean going to his bench at the 12:47 mark. Oladipo guarding Burke. He'll look to use his athleticism against the quick Burke. Hardaway, and Oladipo with the rebound.
I don't like that shot, Gus. You can get it any time you've had success going toward the rim, drawing and dishing. You can get that shot any time in the sequence.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is shooting 28% from the three-point line. He's taken 126 threes coming into this game. Halls again, and Zeller with the tip jam. Big Z, 18-6.
That's how you shoot 66%, Gus. Point blank. Get right in there and convert. Nice job by the freshman not giving up on the play.
Burke, hesitation. Novak again. And Pritchard with the rebound. McClymon's also in for Michigan, as well as Smotrich. Elston hard to the basket. Inside. Zeller blocked by Hardaway. He got all ball. Here comes Burke. Crosstown traffic to King. Hardaway. Just doesn't look like that ball is coming off his hand right.
Yeah, exactly. And the rotation just didn't look good right there. Now, if you're Indiana, Gus, you've had some success getting into the lane and creating scoring opportunities. Even when Halls got in and missed, Michigan fell asleep, didn't locate Zeller, and he got the stick back.
Zeller calling for it again on the short baseline. And a whistle and foul. McClymon's.
Gus, you can't fall asleep with a guy that shoots 66% from the floor. That's how you do it. Nice job of attacking the rim. Elston goes in, tries to complete it. Michigan says none of it. Up a dozen at home.
Where Michigan leads Indiana 18-6. BTN goes where you want, when you want it. With BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance, watch live games and original BTN programming on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. BTN to go is available at no extra charge to subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Also available in the App Store. Gus Johnson, Shaw Morris with you. 10:54 to play in the first half. The Indiana Hoosiers are third in the nation in three-point field goal percentage and field goal percentage. But right now, this Michigan defense is giving them all they could ask for. Indiana 3 of 12 from the field.
And they've done a really nice job of throwing some different defensive looks at Indiana, particularly at Cody Zeller, forcing him to make some decisions.
And Smotrich knocks down a jumper. Wolverines go up 20-6. Watford ready to check back in. Indiana on the season averaging close to 80 points per game, and there's Elston.
Elston coming off a nice performance last time out in that big winning effort versus Iowa. 11 points, 4 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 2 from three-point range.
Baseline. Smotrich. And Douglas moves over to the point. Brundage in the game as well for Michigan. A freshman from Southfield, Michigan. 8 to shoot, Douglas. Deep in the corner. And that one goes down for McClymons.
And McClymons, if you let him get his feet set, he can knock that down. Was 1 of 2 from behind the arc last time out in Ohio State.
Largest lead of the game now for U of M. And if John Beilein ever got a 5 guy like Kevin Pittsnoggle, who we had at West Virginia, to come in and shoot a mid-range jump shot, this Michigan program would be something to watch.
And especially to serve as a trailer on that secondary break.
Indiana, Michigan hitting the deck. And it looks like the Hoosiers will turn it over again. That's 6 turnovers. And look at the categories that Indiana leads the Big Ten.
80 points per ball game. We mentioned the field goal percentage earlier. An outstanding three-point shooting team. 3 of the top 4 shooters in the conference in terms of three-point percentage wear the Indiana uniform, led by Matt Roth.
And the Hoosiers are also averaging 17, close to 18 points per game off turnovers, and they're 3rd nationally, making close to 18 free throws a game, but they haven't really been able to get to the line tonight. No free throw attempts thus far for IU. Douglas backdoor.
Beautiful job of setting the high screen, and Douglas came off shoulder to shoulder for the conversion.
25-8. Oladipo takes a 3. Weak side rebound to Douglas. Got to watch the trailers with Michigan, because they will let it fly from the 3-point line. Douglas, and a reaching foul coming up. Looks like it will go against Oladipo.
Nice job right there by Douglas of sensing they were kind of getting away from attacking the rim. He takes it right to the rim. And the last time down the floor, you're good as the back screen. Nice job by Douglas of coming off shoulder to shoulder. They had poor ball pressure on Hardaway there, Gus. That allowed him to look over the top and find Douglas off the back there.
3, 4, 5, 4.
Will Sheehy back in. Jordan Morgan in as well for Michigan. Burke, along with Novak and Hardaway.
They just ran the same play trying to free up Novak. Really good job by Indiana of hedging and forcing him wide.
Douglas working hard, knocked away. Nice catch by Morgan.
Nice hands by Morgan. We talked about the field goal proficiency of Zeller leading the conference at 66. Jordan Morgan right behind him, 2nd in the conference at 65% conversion rate.
7 players have scored already for Michigan. The Wolverines taking a 27-8 lead. And this Indiana team, their road demeanor so drastically different from the team we see in Bloomington as Jones picks it up. And the Hoosiers throw it away again for the 7th time. 27-8, back to Ann Arbor after this. I guess it's obvious to a duck that John Beilein had his team ready to play coming into this game.
Especially on the defensive end of the floor, I was really impressed. They've thrown some different looks at Indiana, and the Hoosiers have struggled taking care of the basketball, Gus. 7 turnovers leading to 10 Michigan points off those turnovers.
So if you're Tom Crean, you're a team that has only recorded 1 victory on the road in conference play. What's the mentality that you have to start developing with this squad from this point for the rest of the game? Down so big.
Just continue to play in 4-minute segments and try to get this down in a more manageable number by halftime. And it's going to start on this end of the floor because Michigan's been able to turn the corner like that. As a result, they're shooting 62% from the floor. You add that to the offensive woes, and that would explain the score that Indiana finds themselves in right now.
Burke, Douglas, Morgan, Novak, Hardaway. Morgan, and a foul. Tonight, it's the award-winning series, The Journey. Go behind the scenes, on and off the court of the nation's premier conference. The Journey. Big Ten Basketball 2012 tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern exclusively here on BTN. So Jordan Morgan at the free throw line.
This is where it gets a little interesting for Morgan. He's outstanding from the floor, as we talked about, 65%, but barely breaking the Mendoza line from the free throw line, 49% on the year.
And he'll get the second. Morgan 1 of 2 from the stripe. Michigan taking a 28-8 lead.
Because right now for Indiana, no need to start hoisting up threes, go inside, force Michigan to try to defend inside out. And if you get a three, it's most likely going to come by going inside and then kicking it back out. And Michigan, again, showing a little bit of a different look, extending their defense out.
Verdell Jones with a pick and roll with Oladipo. 10 to shoot. Jones trying to break down the defense to Halls. Money.
Nice job by Jones of getting in there and forcing Michigan to react defensively. That allowed Halls to get set on that right wing.
28-11. Jordan Halls, their third leading scorer, 12 a game. He shoots 48%, folks, from the three-point line. Douglas with a hand in his face. Halls with the strong side rebound.
Nice contest right there, closing out by Verdell Jones III.
IU 1 of 5 from three-point range. Remy Abel also in the game. Oladipo almost threw it over. Here's Abel looking for Zeller, knocked out of bounds. And now they're going to give it to Michigan.
Cody Zeller trying to sit up along the baseline. Pass was a little bit slow. Zeller didn't come meet it. Active hands by Morgan. It goes off Zeller's legs. We'll go the other way for yet another Indiana turnover.
Indiana, 8 turnovers here in the first half. Michigan has not turned it over. Remember, Indiana only averages 13 turnovers per game. Morgan. Now Burke, who got off to the really hot start. 4 for 4 inside. Finally missed one. Zeller can't hold on. Remy Abel is there. Halls got a good look at it. Jordan Halls.
That's on Michigan right there. You can't lose him in transition. Good job by Indiana making the extra pass. And that young man came in as a three-point shooter. He has added a lot more to his arsenal. He's one of the more improved players in the conference.
He can really play the game. And he's got a ton of heart. Hardaway working.
Good job by Oladipo moving his feet.
Oladipo, terrific athlete. 9 to shoot. Burke. And a whistle. Looks like Burke palmed the basketball. And Michigan turns it over for the first time.
Watching transition, you have to talk and find him. You can't allow him to set up on that wing unmolested, or this is going to be the result. Bottom of the well in transition for Jordan Halls.
IU now on a 6-0 run. 28-14. Halls guarded by Burke. Almost lost it. Elston hard to the basket. Left hand over. I love his aggressiveness. He is fearless when he gets on the basketball court.
He's playing with a lot of confidence coming off that nice offensive performance versus Iowa. Can knock down the perimeter jump shot. How about the use of the off or the left hand to complete and slide around the attempted charge by Jordan Morgan? As a result, Elston's going to shoot a couple. Nice play.
So Elston's averaging 5 a game. He shoots his first free throw and it goes down. Derek Elston, a 47% free throw shooter. And we'll get a sub coming in as Hardaway Jr. heads to the bench. And he's replaced by Vogridge. Indiana on a 7-0 run, but their defense
And Oladipo has really given them a lift on this end of the floor, doing a nice job of keeping everybody, the ball handler in front of him. That was something that Indiana struggled early. As a result, Michigan was able to get off to that hot start, shooting over 60%.
Burke guarded by Abel now. Two freshmen. Cross court, Bogridge three. Zeller with the board. Indiana, you can feel them starting to settle down. Nice bounce pass. Oladipo, double clutch banger.
How about the heads-up point guard play by Jordan Hulls in transition? Gus came to a nice jump stop in the lane, had his head up, found Oladipo. As a result, that capped a 9-0 run for Indiana in transition. The delivery through traffic, Oladipo giving a lift on the defensive end, showing, hey, I can score. Indiana climbs back within 11.
Welcome back, 28-17 our score. Michigan coming up on our State Farm Halftime Report. Rick Pizzo and Timmy T will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights, plus the latest news from around the Big Ten. That's all coming up on the State Farm Halftime Report. Chrysler Arena here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Classic Big Ten matchup between the rejuvenated Indiana Hoosiers off to their best start under Tom Crean, and the Michigan Wolverines also playing excellent basketball this season under John Beilein.
And Indiana giving Michigan a little bit of a different defensive look here, going 2-3.
Both these teams need a victory. Michigan 2-3 in their last 5. Indiana 2-4 in their last 6. 2 to shoot. Novak. Oh! At the buzzer. Zach Novak. What a great leader for this Michigan basketball team. He's the captain. And a whistle and foul.
Shot clock winding down. Zach Novak says you can't play this late. 34 seconds of defense. You got to play 35, or this is what happens. The senior delivers a 3. Michigan up 2 touchdowns.
Welcome back, 31-17. Time for our 5-hour energetic fan camp. That kid in the middle is the quarterback.
He's got to loosen up and start having some fun.
Denard Robinson, the starting quarterback. What a talent for the Michigan Wolverines, who all had another great season, or had a great season, rather, under Brady Hoke in his first year.
Michigan foul, number 0, Zach Novak. That's his first.
I'm not sure what that was.
It's a combination of a stormtrooper and a Wolverine helmet. 31-17 our score now. IU started 4-14, but they've hit their last 3 field goals. That was a big 3-pointer by Zach Novak as the shot clock expired on Michigan's last offensive possession. 31-17, Hardaway back in. Guarding Oladipo, drives to the hole. Abel pulls up in the paint. Batted around Burke, clears it. Burke had 13 points, 5 assists, and 5 turnovers in their loss to Ohio State. Lenzel Smith, 17 of 12 for the Bucks.
8 offensive rebounds for Lenzel Smith in that winning effort.
Smotrich. And Oladipo pulls it down. 2:20 to play first half. Indiana would love to cut it to 10.
See if they try to go inside out. Here comes the high screen and roll. Good job right there by Smotrich to show him.
And a kick ball.
Ball to Indiana.
Cody Zeller, 1 of 4 from the field, but the problem is he's only had 4 attempts. As Verdell Jones comes back in, he does have 6 rebounds. Only 2 points for Cody. Abel over to the sideline. Nice job by the freshman, Tom Crean. Holes guarded by Novak. Will circle.
Because this is why Novak is so important and valuable to this Michigan team. Not just his 3-point shooting, but he can guard just about any position on the floor.
Elston with a 3. 31-20. Indiana trying to get back in this game after a horrible beginning. Michigan is led by as many as 20 points.
And Elston continuing his fine play that he left off with versus Iowa.
The lob, Hardaway, oh! He caught it from behind! Tim Hardaway Jr. Talk about a high percentage shot. He's got his daddy's hops. 33-20.
That basket was worth more than 2 points because it got this crowd re-energized, Gus.
Meanwhile, a whistle. But look at the athletic move of Tim Hardaway Jr.
Nice delivery on the feed. And Gus, that's an area where Verdell Jones III, if he comes out with hands high, it takes away that passing angle.
33-20 Holes. He's hit 2 threes in the first half, which sparked this Hoosier team to get closer. Christian Watford, folks, has only played 7 minutes in the first half for IU. 2 points and a turnover. Oladipo to Zeller. Zeller got his own rebound and sticks it.
And Indiana has gotten some nice production off the bench. Derek Elston knocking down some jump shots. And Oladipo has been really, really solid on the defensive end. There he's able to break down Michigan off the dribble and allow Zeller to clean up his own mess with the conversion.
Indiana needs to stop, though, to get another opportunity. Burke off the bounce. Can't get the roll. Now IU will play for 1 shot. Shot clock turned off. Game clock at 20.
Gus, how about the job from Indiana digging down from a 20-point deficit? They have a chance with any kind of a field goal to go in underneath the 10-point margin, which is so key from a mental standpoint. Let's see what Indiana draws up when we come back.
33-22, Michigan's led by as many as 20 with 13.7 to play in the first half. Reese's perfect combination, Burke and Novak, a combined 18.
And Burke really got Michigan started on the offensive end, attacking the basket. Novak hit a big 3 with the shot clock winding down. But the story here, Gus, in the last 5 minutes has been the play of Indiana, particularly what they've gotten off the bench in the form of Elston and Oladipo.
10 seconds to go. Indiana almost turned it over. 7 seconds now. Verdell Jones. And Jones fouled on the sideline with 4.3.
Michigan foul, number 1, Stu Douglas.
And now, if you're Michigan, you have to be cognizant. Look, if you're beaten on a dribble drive, you have 1 more foul to give before Indiana goes to the line. Only 5 common fouls right now for the Michigan Wolverines. So if you're beaten on a dribble drive, you can give the foul without sending Indiana to the line.
Watch Holes the inbounder. Jones, 3 to shoot, and he's fouled again. That time it was Vogrich, and Jones has hurt his shoulder. Verdell Jones in a lot of pain, folks.
He's coming off a little bit of the rough screen. He's getting bodied, and he grabbed for that right arm immediately.
So Roth comes in. He's their designated shooter. 2.7 to play in the first half. Oladipo inbound it. Holes breaks to the basketball. He's got to hurry. And he throws it up and short. And that's the end of the first half. Michigan led by as many as 20, but Indiana gets back in it. 33-22. Now let's go to Rick Pizzo in Chicago. Welcome back to Ann Arbor, Michigan. 33-22. Wolverines leading the Hoosiers at the break. Now a different take on tonight's halftime highlights brought to you by Enlist. Let's listen in to John Beilein's coaches meeting.
second half, they're going to be away from us defensively. We have to exaggerate our talk defensively, point and shout. When we're guarding this transition, that generated about 6 to 8 points.
You know, and I think we're relying on here.
7.
We're relying right here on guys taking charge and help defense. We got to guard our yard a little bit better.
Certainly.
I mean, they're going right north south. We're in position to take a charge, but it's so quick we can't get there. All right, so that's the big message I gave them right now. You're up 11 points at halftime. Teams, when they're up a little bigger, thinks they did something wrong. Now you're up 11 points at halftime. Here we go. Let's go get them again.
Guys in the moment.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Win possessions.
Gus Johnson, Sean Morris, how do you interpret that meeting?
I think he wants his team to feel good about where they are rather than having the fact that they had a 20-point lead and it's down to 11. You're still up 11 at home. Get back to attacking the rim. That was very productive.
All right, so coming up the second half, we'll see what kind of adjustments the Hoosiers make in this second half after being down by 20. (33-22) Michigan with the lead at halftime. Our first half stats presented by Kay Jewelers. So let's take a look.
Points off turnovers really a big key, particularly in the early going. Indiana did a much better job of taking care of the ball in the second 10 minutes of that first half. As a result, they're able to climb back in much more efficient, 11 points on their last 7 possessions.
And you know, our Gary Williams, Coach Gary Williams, told Dave Repson and Jimmy Jackson that Tom Crean, because his team makes about 17.8 free throws per game, they've only taken 2 attempts. Coach Williams said he needed to talk to the officials. Well, I think he heard him. That's exactly what Coach Crean did at halftime. He called a meeting. How come my guys aren't getting to the line?
Not a lot of fouls in the first half. Neither team able to get into the bonus. 2 fouls on Indiana, 6 called on Michigan.
And here's the big adjustment for Tom Crean. Christian Watford does not start the second half. He only played 7 minutes in the first half. Watford with 2 points. Elston starts instead. Elston hit a couple of big shots. Meanwhile, Abel is starting the second half in place of Sheehy. So Tom Crean drawing it up in the sand during halftime and making some serious changes with his lineup.
And the 2 guys that started the second half, Oladipo and Elston, really came in off the bench and provided a spark. They're rewarded with the second half started. A nice job by Indiana of attacking Michigan off the dribble to start this second half.
Hardaway Jr. continues to struggle with his shot. He's 2 for 7, 1 for 5 from the three-point line. Remember, he came into this game shooting under 30% from the three-point line on the year. Burke, along with Morgan, Hardaway Jr. Now Morgan guarded by Zeller. Bumping and grinding, jump hook off the heel. Oladipo there for the rebound. Oladipo has been wonderful for this Indiana team.
Especially on the defensive end. He really provided a spark and also gave them the ability to turn the corner and get in the lane. Didn't put up a lot of points in the first half, Gus, but he drew a lot of defensive attention, allowing his teammates to get in the scoring column.
Indiana ended the first half on a 14-5 run. Abel again. This time a little too strong. Here comes Novak. Indiana quick in transition defense. Deep in the corner, Hardaway. Still won't fall for him. 1 for 6. Inside Zeller. Double teamed. Abel, mid-range. No call. Douglas, Zeller on his back. Now Burke, the strong hesitation and deal. And one.
And that started, Gus, with Michigan recognizing that the freshman was down on the floor, so the shot-blocking presence was not there, and Michigan goes from defense to offense. You're going to see Zeller coming into your screen. Burke senses that, draws the attention. Oladipo tries to send it away for our Verizon key connection of the ball game, and Jordan Morgan shows you why. He shoots 65% from the floor on the delivery from Trey Burke.
Burke, his confidence is growing in Morgan when he penetrates and finding him. I talked to him early during the season when he had 27 against Minnesota. He said he really thinks that Morgan can finish strong at the basket. He's just got to catch it a little bit better, and that's what he did on that play. 36-24, U of M. Oladipo. Holmes, quick release. Woo! Jordan Holmes is a ball player.
And he could do it in any way you want, Gus. We saw him get in the lane, hit a nice little teardrop jump shot. Here shows his ability to score off the dribble. He's not just a catch and three-point shooter.
36-27, Holmes 3 for 3 from the field, 11 points. Burke. And Douglas caught a break from the official. 9 to shoot. Douglas to Burke, 4 to shoot. He's got to hustle. Burke on the bounce to the cup, no. And a whistle. They're going to call it a shot clock violation. He didn't draw iron.
And a really nice defensive sequence there by Indiana. You saw a lot of guys moving their feet, keeping the ball handler from Michigan in front of them and not allowing them to turn the corner. That was what allowed Michigan to build that early lead in the first half, guys. They were getting by the primary Indiana defender, the Hoosiers, that have done a wonderful job of tidying that up.
Burke has 10 points, but he hasn't scored since the 14:39 mark of the first half. Holes really feeling it now. Zeller. Oladipo elevates.
And how about the look cross court by Zeller? Nice job by the freshman of not panicking, looks over the top, finds Oladipo.
I like what Tom Crean has done. He's going to go with his hot hand. Now Watford in the game at the 16-minute mark of the second half.
Great teamwork last time down the floor. Watch Zeller set up shot down there on the block. Takes the defender up the lane, takes some contact, turns faces. You saw Novak get kind of caught in no man's land between coming over for the double team or staying with his man. As a result, Oladipo the catch and finish.
Zeller, a very good passer for a big man. He had 4 assists in their win over Iowa. Hardaway bumped, and it'll be sideline out of bounds. And tonight, Watford, Zeller, Jones. And they have really been challenged by this Michigan team.
And Verdell Jones, we saw him leave toward the end of the first half, guys, with what looked like a shoulder injury. Zeller hasn't been able to get much going on the offensive end, but has been a presence on the glass.
And an offensive foul coming up. Moving screen on Morgan as Michigan turns it over. 36-29, Indiana right back in this game, and Michigan knows it. Indiana, they've had some dramatic moments this year. Beating number 1 Kentucky 73-72 in Bloomington. Beating number 2 Ohio State as well, 74-70. 2 huge home wins. But this could even be a bigger win for this Indiana squad on the road. Looking for their second conference win of the season. They need a big road victory.
And they've really been able to climb back in because of their ability to lock down on the defensive end of the floor and taking better care of the basketball. 8 miscues by Indiana thus far. 7 of those came in the real early going as Michigan was able to get out to that big lead. But Indiana has clamped down, and they've gotten some nice production off the bench, primarily in the form of Derek Elston and Victor Oladipo, who provided a much-needed lift on the offensive as well as defensive end of the floor.
So the Hoosiers with the basketball. Remember, they've trailed by as many as 20 in this game. 36-29 now.
Indiana, Gus, looking to continue a 21-8 run, which has allowed them to climb back into this ball game.
Zeller draws a double and throws that one into the stands. And that is their 9th turnover of the night. Now Douglas, Burke, Novak, Morgan, Hardaway. They've really done a nice job clamping down on Burke after the red-hot start.
Now, Gus, Burke has Watford on him primarily to see if he tries to turn the corner on the bigger defender.
Douglas hopping inside. Turnaround jump shot is good. Stewie Douglas, 6 points now on 3 of 6. Abel answers though. This freshman's confidence is starting to really percolate.
Boy, he elevated very, very nicely, and a nice job by the freshman, Gus, of not taking that extra dribble and potentially drawing the charge, knocking down that mid-range jump shot.
From Louisville, Kentucky. They say he has the strongest lower body on the team. Burke drives baseline, cut off by Watford. Now reverses. The kick, Novak again. Long rebound, Morgan. And a new shot clock for Michigan. Watford using his length and height on the smaller Burke.
Good job by Elson of getting over the top of that screen.
Pritchard ready to check in for Indiana. Burke drives, contested. Watford gets a rebound. Great job by Christian Watford.
Boy, nice job of moving his feet and then using his sight.
Oh, skip pass. Elston bobbled it, dumps it down, and Zeller foul. Big Ten Super Wednesday presented by Buffalo Wild Wings continues next with the second game of our doubleheader as the Minnesota Golden Gophers travel to Iowa to clash with the Hawkeyes. That's coming up right after our game exclusively here on BTN. Big Z. And what's the Cody Zeller.
Well, the big fella runs extremely well, and he has been a difference maker for this Indiana program, not only statistically, but allowing other guys to assume their more comfortable roles and then piece through strength, Gus. As he gets bigger and stronger, his game is going to continue to develop. We've seen a couple times tonight, particularly in the upper body, hasn't been able to catch and finish. A year from now, he's going to be taking the defender right through the rim with him.
But here's the big question. Is it free or 99 cents?
I'm always for free.
The Cody Zeller app. John Beeline with a look of concern on his face. Indiana on a 9-2 run. Hoosiers have made a very interesting adjustment, putting Watford on Burke. Hardaway. Off again.
I guess I've really been impressed with the way Watford has responded to being on the bench for a long period of time. He hasn't hung his head. He has come out and delivered.
One thing's for sure, guarding Burke, his energy level has to raise, or he could get embarrassed. Elston, step back jumper. Watford kept it alive.
Nice job by Pritchard there as well.
New shot clock for IU. As we approach the 13-minute mark, the momentum really shifting for Indiana. Abel. Holds inside, Watford, and Christian Watford will go to the line, trying to make this a two-point basketball game.
Nice job by Watford of setting up shop, and then coming into your screen, it was Jordan Holes with a beautiful use of the hesitation dribble right there. Freezes the defender, rotates over, good catch and finish. IU right now, Gus, on an 11-2 run.
Tom Crean got Christian Watford's attention. He only played 7 minutes in the first half. He didn't come out playing with energy. Now guarding Burke to start this second half, and he did not start the second half. But when he came in, they put him on one of the toughest players on this Michigan squad, if not the toughest.
That's one of the things the coaches still have. If you don't want to compete, come take a seat.
I like that, Walt Frazier. 38-36, two-point game. Vogrich, Smotrich, Hardaway, Novak, and Douglas. Novak pops out, jump shot. Good. He's a big money shooter, folks. When you need a bucket, Zach Novak wants the ball in his hands. He is not afraid of the moment. 41-36, Novak, 3 of 5 from downtown. He has 9. Watford, driving.
Good job right there by Hardaway.
They swing it. Holes, pulls up. Boom. Jordan Holes. 41-38. And Holes has that look, the eye of the tiger on his face tonight, folks. He is all business. And a foul inside. Looks like Sheehy called for the foul. IU, though, has scored on 6 of their last 7 possessions, 41-38. (41-38) Michigan. Their 20-point lead chopped down with under 12 to play in the second half. Time for our Auto Owners Insurance game leaders.
Jordan Holes answering the bell offensively, and Trey Burke, those 10 points, a lot of those came early as Michigan jumped out to a big lead, Gus, but Indiana has really clamped down on the defensive end, playing with a great deal of confidence. The momentum all wearing red right now.
I mean, just a totally different Indiana team that began this basketball game here in the second half. And when you look at Indiana and you think about leadership, this Jordan Holes is the center of this squad.
He really is, and he hit some big shots when Indiana needed it, and they were in the midst of a drought. But you can't say enough about the production that Indiana got off the bench in the form of Elston, Oladipo, and the freshman Abel has also come in and given Coach Tom Crean some big minutes. And I also like the way that Christian Watford has responded here in the second half.
So a foul before the ball is thrown in bounds. Looks like Sheehy will pick up his second, guarding Hardaway Jr.
That's his second.
Tom Crean, so desperate, wants to win this one. He's been criticized for his road record during his time at Indiana in the conference. Hardaway Jr. Let's see if he alters his game. He's 1 of 7 from the three-point line, 2 of 9 overall. Now they move it to the point with Burke on the bench, 10 to shoot. Wants to break down Pritchard. Takes him to the bucket. There you go.
Smart move. He recognized that, knew that Pritchard couldn't move with him laterally, cleared out his teammates and attacked the rim. That's what you'd like to see more of from Tim Hardaway Jr. for Michigan.
43-38. Watford wants it now. He's got Hardaway facing him. Drives. Cut off. Sheehy. Now Abel, the runner, blocked by Novak into the hands of Pritchard. Roth deep. Loose ball. Squirts around. Novak. He's got Smotrich. Smotrich up. And it counts.
The last time down the floor, Tim Hardaway Jr. calls a clear out, able to turn the corner on Tom Pritchard and complete. And then in transition, nice look off right there by Novak. Smotrich, you got to reward the big fella when he runs the floor. Indiana, Gus, would have been better served just to let Smotrich go in and complete the play.
And let's see. All right, here's the play. The ball was out of his hand, so the basket counts. And a blocking foul against Indiana, so Michigan gets the ball again. Gene Steratore coming over, explaining it to us at our table. Now he'll explain the same thing to Tom Crean.
Coming right at you here. Novak, the look off. There's the completion. Looks like they called the block, not on the foul on Smotrich, but on the block on Novak. Delivery, right.
And Tom Crean trying to understand it. Let's see it one more time. Watch Novak with the ball now and Roth as he tries to get back on defense after the pass.
Wow. This is a big sequence right now for Michigan. This could be a 5-point possession if on this out-of-bounds play, Michigan's able to knock down the 3. That's a tough break if you're Indiana, no question about it.
Smotrich with the inbounds catch. Novak to Hardaway. Pulls up. Jump shot. Now Watford. Crosses over, inside, forces it up, gets his own rebound, stolen away by Stu Douglas.
Michigan trying to spread the floor now, get something going toward the basket.
Wow, Novak turns it over. Watford in the corner. Holmes drives. And Holmes missed Roth wide open on the left wing.
Who was calling for it. And even though he was about 4 feet behind the three-point arc, that is well within Matt Roth's range.
Indiana. Watford out of bounds. That will stay right here.
Great job by Oladipo of not giving up on the play. He didn't die on the block out by Michigan, kept going at it. As a result, Michigan's not able to corral it.
So Watford out of the game, replaced by Elston. Burke also in for Michigan. Novak heads to the bench.
And Novak was asking out of the ballgame. He was pulling on his jersey. He's tired right now because he's had to try to do everything on the offensive as well as defensive end.
Holmes, and a whistle. And an offensive foul called against Jordan Holmes as he hooked his man going to the bucket.
Indiana foul on number 1, Jordan Holmes. That's his first, team sixth. Back to the game now for your Wolverines.
Holmes trying to get something going toward the rim. They get it right there with that right hand. Good call by the official.
Burke guarded by Oladipo. Douglas by Holmes. Inside Morgan, changed his shot and gets the roll.
Nice job of attacking by Burke right there. That's a tough catch in traffic by Jordan Morgan. Now, for Michigan, next time down the floor, you have to recognize the foul situation. Indiana with 16 fouls right now. The next will put Michigan into the bonus.
And Elston to the basket and one. He has been terrific tonight.
Well, Elston attacks offensively, but the last time down the floor, it's the freshman Trey Burke going right toward the rim. Good catch and finish by Jordan Morgan. And then Elston, this is the second time he's shown the ability to create some space with the left-handed dribble. And Derek Elston playing at a very high level right now, continuing where he left off versus Iowa.
Elston spending a lot of time in the weight room. He knows where the beach is.
That's why I wear long sleeve shirts, Gus.
Me too. As he hits a free throw. 6-point lead for Michigan. 9 minutes to go. Elston 9 points and a rebound. As Oladipo shadows Burke. Smotrich hadn't really been able to get that sweet jump shot of his off tonight. Burke reverses to the basket. Oladipo with another rebound. Here comes Victor. Oladipo 6 rebounds this evening. And now the foul going against Vogrich. As Novak and Hardaway come back in, Smotrich and Vogrich head out of the game.
Back in the game now for your Wolverines, number 0.
And now a timeout on the floor.
And Michigan has called the 30-second
And Michigan calls the timeout. But Derek Elston shining tonight for IU.
He's doing it on both ends of the floor, has given Indiana a lift when they needed it. As a result, Indiana within striking distance at 6.
BTN Basketball is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, your destination for Big Ten Network games. By State Farm, for auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And by Visit Bloomington, the official travel resource for Bloomington, Indiana. For more information, go to visitbloomington.com.
47-41 Michigan. 8:16 to play in the second half. Now let's take a look at our Bass Pro Shops in the net.
And Derek Elston has been finding the bottom of the net at a high rate of efficiency tonight. 3 of 4 from the floor, picking up where he left off, where he was 4 of 5 last time out versus Iowa. And Derek Elston, 9 points, but his impact has been much higher than that, providing energy in the first half, and has really been a nice performer off the bench. Bench play for Indiana has been tremendous this evening.
And last year we really got to know a little bit about Derek Elston and his energy and his spirit, his pregame dances. You know, I'm sure he's a popular man on the Indiana campus. He should be popular right now with Michigan because he's played a wonderful game thus far. But Indiana down by 6. Jordan Holes, he's really tricky with the basketball. And when they've needed a big bucket, he's been there for them. Holes, guarded by Burke. Here's the screen. Now he's got Morgan on him on a switch. Oladipo off the heel. And a rebound to Burke. Trey Burke, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in this game. Hardaway Jr. splits the defense, lost it out of bounds, and will head the other way. 7:31 to play, getting interesting here in Ann Arbor. We've got a 6-point game. Saturday night, it's Big Ten basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy as 20th ranked Indiana clashes with rival Purdue. State and conference bragging rights are on the line. Indiana-Purdue coverage begins 6:30 Eastern. Saturday exclusively on BTN. And we're getting into the thick of things in conference play now as we look at the Big Ten standing.
Teams getting ready to make the turn at the halfway point of the conference slate. And we've talked about the importance of this game, Gus. A win for Michigan would allow them to keep pace in the win column with Ohio State and Wisconsin. But for Indiana, it would give them a chance to get a signature win on the road. We've talked about the great job they've done at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, already with wins there versus Kentucky and Ohio State.
Watford back in the game now for IU with Elston, Zeller, Holes, and Oladipo. Zeller has only attempted 6 shots. Now he drives and a foul.
Tell you what, he has a very, very quick first step.
I was talking to him before the game, just to add to your point. He said, I was only 6'5" when I was a freshman in high school, and I played point guard.
Well, it shows he has outstanding footwork, great court vision. We've seen his ability and willingness to pass over the top. And boy, that first step is exceedingly quick.
Now Holes heels it back, guarded by Douglas. Watford's got to take good shots. He's forced a couple. Zeller baseline off the window, good.
Well, nice job by Zeller, opening up on that little pick and roll. Didn't dribble all the way in and use the window.
When's the last time you saw a big use the glass like that?
I don't know, but I'm happy to see it. That's what the good Dr. Naismith put it up there for, Gus.
47-43. Hardaway Jr. inside. Morgan bumped, turns. Zeller with the board. Here comes IU. Holes down the lane. No look pass. Zeller. Watford. And it's out of bounds. Michigan gets it again.
Well, I liked it. Indiana came right back to Zeller. They came back as a result of this little pick and roll. Great court awareness by Zeller. Not trying to drive all the way in and giving Douglas a chance to draw the offensive foul. And then you mentioned it, using the window for the conversion.
Hardaway Jr. weaving his way inside. And Zeller taps it to himself for another rebound. 4-point game. It's been a while since Holes has taken a shot. Let's see if he can get loose. Holes pops out on the wing, 12 to shoot. Holds. 9 to shoot. Lets it go. Elston. And it's out of bounds. Looks like that's a foul against Elston.
You can't fault the effort by Elston. You're going to see him coming into your screen off the miss. There's a little bit of a shove off on Novak. But I tell you what, you can live with that foul if you're Indiana, because that is a tremendous hustle play by Elston. The downside, however, if you're wearing the red for Indiana, is it gives Zach Novak the one in the bonus at the line.
Novak, the best free throw shooter on this Michigan squad. He's at 83%. What's the application on Zach Novak?
Well, I don't think there's any question. He's a tremendous competitor. Catch and release. Can get it behind the arc and knock down the three. The one thing you want to see if you're Michigan, he plays with a great deal of emotion. Control that emotion. Sometimes when he struggles, he allows his emotions to get the best of him, but he is no question the heart and soul of this Michigan team and gives the Maize and Blue a great deal of toughness.
11 points, 5 rebounds for Novak. Jordan Holmes. Now Watford gets close. That's where you want Christian Watford.
Get in the lane and finish. Gus, I just like the way that young man has responded. He was benched. He's come out here, has not hung his head, and has locked it down on the defensive end of the floor, as well as giving them some production.
Burke tricks him, though, as he gets to the cup. Trey Burke gives Michigan a 51-45 lead. Under 5 to go. Zeller, quick step to the bucket, and foul. Nice hesitation move by Cody Zeller.
Nice little two-man game right here. Watch Watford, and that's dribbling with a purpose. Creates some space between himself and the defender, and then he's matched up defensively. Nice use of the crossover by Trey Burke, able to turn the corner and complete. But we talked about the quickness of Zeller a couple possessions ago, Gus. It was on full display there as he showed the ability to create some space with the left hand.
This is the first free throw. Cody Zeller, a 77% free throw shooter. Now Abel back in as Elston goes to the bench. And Zeller gets a kind bounce on the second free throw. 51-46.
And Zeller has added so much to this Indiana team, not only offensively and defensively, but he's allowed his teammates to assume a little bit more comfortable role. No beneficiary greater than that of Christian Watford, who now can square up and face the rim.
Watford goes up high for the rebound. Along with Zeller not communicating. And Indiana won't get it back as Zeller steps on the line.
But the two bigs for Indiana giving it up. Watch Watford giving it up, and once again, just so impressed with how he's responded. That's a free ball.
Loose ball. Zeller trying to track it down. Out of bounds. Wow, and they say it's against IU.
Well, how about Zeller not giving up on this play? That's a live ball. If he's able to come up with it, he can score. He saves it in. Yeah, there it is. He touched it while he was out of bounds, but you cannot fault the hustle of the freshman.
Great camera work by our BTN crew.
Especially with a 7-foot dude closing in on you.
Stick in there. 51-46. Closing in on 4 minutes to go in the second half. Burke crosses over again and draws a foul. That crossover is killer. He can go either way. Such a low center of gravity for Trey Burke.
Indiana foul on number 2, Christian Watford. That's his first teammate. The line out to shoot 2 for your Wolverines is number 3, Trey Burke.
Trey Burke, Mr. Basketball in the state of Ohio. They didn't have room for him at Ohio State. as he misses the first. And what's the app on Trey Burke?
People talk about basketball IQ. He's got basketball Mensa, a very good court awareness and sense of the game. Right place, right time, not only in coming to Ann Arbor with the departure of Darius Morris, but his ability to get the ball to his teammates in a place they can do something with it. The one thing you'd like to do if you're Michigan is see a greater sense of shot selection. That's the only time that he struggles on the offensive end is when he forces shots when he doesn't need to.
Next year, he'll be joined by Trey Robinson, Glenn Robinson's son. I talked to Trey at a game this year. I said, can you beat your dad yet? He smiled at me and he said, all the time, no problem. 52-46. Hulls rises. Oh, round and Jordan Hulls. 52-49. Jordy with 16. He's 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 4 from the three-point line.
And he recognized he had Smotrich on him on that switch. Smotrich wasn't strong on the hedge, and Hulls made him pay.
And Burke turns it over. So IU gets it back. 52-49 our score. Jordy Hulls. Ball player. I tell you what, there's some excitement in the air and some nervousness as well for these Michigan fans. You're absolutely right. 52-49 our score right now. 3:31 to go, and later tonight after our doubleheader, don't miss the Big Ten finale presented by Reese's. Our guys in the studio break down the whole night in the Big Ten with highlights, news, and analysis from every game. That's later tonight right after our twin bill on BTN. 52-49. Michigan is led by as many as 20 as we take a look at the game reset.
Foul situation, pretty much even, so a couple more before Michigan finds themselves in the double bonus. Both teams need to attack one another off the dribble. This level of play, particularly on the defensive end, has been very, very high here on the second half.
Michigan 12-0 this season when leading at halftime. Elston back in. Hulls has played every minute of this game. Elston. Watford driving on Novak, up and foul. That's the aggressive play that Tom Crean wants from Watford and knows that he can get it from him. And he got his attention this evening.
And because of Watford's ability to knock down the perimeter jump shot, you can't gap him like you would a normal big guy out there on the wing, Gus. You have to close out under control. If you don't, he has the ability to get by you with the dribble. And again, attacking off the bounce can pay some dividends here for Indiana.
Watford gets it first. He played only 7 minutes in the first half, didn't start the second half, but then came in and immediately Tom Crean put him on Trey Burke, and it slowed Burke down. Second free throw, a little long. Smotrich with the board. 2-point game. 3:16 to go. Big Ten basketball, folks. Here we go. Burke, Hardaway Jr., 3 of 12 tonight, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Burke driving, kicking, Hardaway Jr., and hits. He's got unbelievable confidence because he has unbelievable pedigree. Tim Hardaway Jr. giving Michigan a 5-point lead.
Great team basketball by Michigan. Started with the dribble penetration. Novak took his defender up the lane.
Watford inside. Elston offensive rebound. And Elston fouled inside. But the confidence of Tim Hardaway Jr.
Nice dribble drive by Burke. You saw Novak take the weak side help up the lane, and Hardaway made it pay. Only 2 of 8 from behind the arc for the sophomore, but I like the way that Indiana responded, Gus, and it was Derek Elston who came up with a big offensive rebound.
And Elston goes to the line to shoot 1 and 1. And Elston has struggled at the free throw line this season, 47%, but they need him right here. 1 and 1. Morgan comes down with it. Indiana 4 timeouts remaining. Michigan with 3. Hardaway Jr. drives inside. No. Morgan with the rebound. And Morgan wisely gets it to a guard. Michigan with a new shot clock.
Smart play by Morgan to kick it out and force Indiana to play potentially another 35 seconds of defense.
5-point lead. Burke on the baseline. Douglas rising fire.
And again, Gus, little notice, but Novak took his defender up the lane, froze him off. That took away the help on the dribble drive.
And this crowd on their feet.
Trey Burke turning the corner, and watch zero right there. Novak takes away the help in the form of Halls. That allows Hardaway to get set in the corner. He knocked down a three, gives it up to his teammate Douglas with the extra pass, and the senior delivers.
As you take a look at the game reset, and you got to give a lot of credit to John Beilein, folks. He took over a program that was in shambles, and he's brought that good feeling back to the University of Michigan basketball program, and he's done it with integrity, and he's done it his way, which has been the right way.
This is one of the more cerebral teams that you will find. They play a bunch of different defenses. They can beat you in a number of ways. Each one of their players that's out there can take it from end to end. Off a missed shot, they like to push the pace when it's there. They knock down the three, a very exciting brand of basketball here in Ann Arbor.
Poles driving to the basket, the runner, tipped up by Zeller. Zeller with the double-double now, his second of the season. 1:30 to go. A lot of time left. But can Indiana come up with stops without fouling? Not this time.
How about the court awareness by Burke? Gus, he sensed that he had Watford, who was giving it all he can on the defensive end of the floor. He really goaded Watford into that foul by dribbling in front of him and settling down.
You said he has Mensa-type abilities on the court. What does Mensa stand for, do you know?
I have no idea. That's why I'm not in it. I don't even know what it means.
It's all the smart people. And Burke gets the front end. And he gets the second. Few of him on an 8-2 run. Inside Oladipo. And IU will call a timeout.
Indiana has come up.
Because you mentioned it, Jordan Hulls. How about the fact the kid has played every tick of the clock and he is still cutting hard, running hard. He's in tremendous condition, able to turn the corner, get it to his teammate Oladipo for the catch and finish. And you talked about the timeout situation. Indiana has plenty to burn. They use one right here. Key thing to keep an eye on now as we take a look at the game reset is the possession arrow. So if Indiana is able to get a stop and maybe knock it loose and there's a scrum on the floor, Michigan will retain possession.
All right, our Motel 6 sixth man of the game is Derek Elston.
And he has been fantastic. The statistic you see there do not begin to tell the whole story of what he provided for Indiana off the bench, particularly in terms of energy. As a result, he's our Motel 6 sixth man of the game.
Now, Stu Douglas will inbound. 60-54. Trey Burke handling. And fouled again.
Indiana foul on number 1, Jordan Hulls. That's his second.
So Holes
Team 10.
call for his second.
Now the shoot 2 for your Wolverines is number 3, Trey Burke.
As he gets it first.
Back in the game for Indiana, number 30.
73% from the line for the freshman this year has been outstanding in terms of distributing the basketball. 5 assists per ball game, good for second in the conference in that category, and also near that 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. Very impressive, particularly for a freshman playing that many minutes.
Mitza, a faint constellation in the southern hemisphere. 62-54. Thank goodness for the iPhone. Inside, Zeller. Offensive foul.
Well, I like what Indiana does. Off the double team, they go inside. Hardaway sets up. The freshman drops his shoulder enough to draw the official's attention. Hardaway sells it, will go the other way.
1 minute and 1 remaining. Hardaway Jr. And he's fouled in the backcourt.
Indiana foul on number 2, Christian Watford.
So Christian Watford called for the foul. 59 seconds to go.
Shoot 2 for your Wolverines is number 10, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. His first trip to the free throw line this evening. And I'm sure Dad, watching this game, is going to have a conversation with him about that stat.
Especially when you shoot 73% from the line, you want to get there as much as you possibly can. And this young man came in, he was going to be a marked man this year. There was no way after the freshman year he put up that he was going to be a secret to anyone, and he has delivered to the tune of 15 points per ball game in his second season in Ann Arbor.
Only scratching his potential. Not even close to where he will be in the next couple of years.
You can't lose Roth here.
Roth blocked by Burke. Out of bounds, and Michigan ball again. Great job by Trey Burke.
Ball to Michigan.
Closing in on the jump shooter.
Back in the game for Indiana, number 23,
Now Abel in. Roth heads to the bench. Defensive substitution for Tom Crean. And Hardaway fouled.
Indiana foul on number 2, Christian Watford.
Tim Hardaway Jr. tonight, 11 points. And our amazing performance tonight
Stepping to the line out is shoot 2
Quicken
for your
Loans,
Wolverines
Trey
is
Burke.
17 points, 10 of those in the first half. He got Michigan off offensively, attacking the rim, building that big lead. A very efficient 5 of 9 from the floor for our Quicken Loans. Amazing performance.
Back to the game now for Indiana, number 30, Matt Moore.
Burke taking over this game with 7 points in the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Second free throw good.
Michigan has called.
And Michigan calls a timeout with 45.8 to go. So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Wolverines. Their next 5.
Playing in-state rival Michigan State. Don't sleep on the Cornhuskers, especially in Lincoln. Indiana found that out the hard way. That senior team really started to round into form. Illinois coming off a big win at home. Ohio State, and then at Northwestern to complete that 5-game slate.
Next 5 for the Hoosiers.
In-state rival with Purdue, Illinois, Northwestern, a chance for Indiana to continue that outstanding play at home to Iowa City.
Indiana, 2 timeouts remaining. .40 seconds to go. Holes fouled by Smotrich, and that's going to get John Beilein up off the bench. He can't believe it. Smotrich.
That's his third, team 10.
Yep. Fouling, stopping the clock at 40.3.
At the line out is shoot 2 for Indiana is Back in the game now for Indiana.
Abel Oladipo.
Victor Oladipo and number 23, Andy Abel.
Holes gets a pair. 65-56. Hardaway, front court, Novak. And he'll waste time. Burke. Foul by Abel. Down the stretch. Hardaway and Burke are combined 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
That's his first.
Michigan as a team tonight, 12 of 15 from the free throw line. Indiana 9 of 13. Elston, Roth come back in. Oladipo, Abel head out. .9 to play. Jordan Holmes looking for a shot, gets it off. Kept alive by Hardaway to Novak, who's fouled by Holmes. With 22.2 to go.
Indiana dug themselves a deep hole, Gus. They were down 20 in the first half, as you and I talked about. But they got some big-time production off the bench. And you cannot fault the effort of Indiana here. They battled back when they were really left on the side. It looked like they were going to get blown out of here. And they came in and competed at an extremely high level. But Michigan able to get points going toward the rim to establish themselves early, and then able to lock it down defensively here in the last 4 or 5 minutes when they needed to.
Zach Novak tonight hit some big shots, including 3 threes. He has 13 points as Vogrich comes back in. 22 to go. Jordan Holmes. And Holmes to Oladipo, cross court. Hardaway with the rebound. Jump ball to call, the possession arrow favoring Michigan.
Jump ball to Michigan.
And that should do it. 68-56. The University of Michigan got out to a big lead early, and they held on. Indiana got as close as 2 after being down by 20. But in the end, 68-56, Michigan, the Wolverines improved their record to 17-6, 7-3 in conference play. Indiana falls to 17-6, 5-6 in the Big Ten.
Michigan able to jump out early, attacking the rim. Indiana struggled taking care of the basketball. 7 early turnovers were converted into points for the Wolverines. But Indiana fought all the way back.
Wonderful performance by Trey Burke. 18 points for the freshman. 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 5 of 9 shooting. And let's go to Dave Repson, who's standing by with the victorious John Beilein.
All right, Gus, thank you very much. Coach, congratulations on the win. You guys got off to such a great start. They made the run at you. What did you say to your guys at halftime?
Well, you know what? We were up by 11 points. So because we were up by 20, 11, I didn't want them to have a sad feeling. I said, you're playing a terrific basketball team. A team that has beaten Kentucky, a team that's beaten Ohio, and now you're up by 11. We'll take that right now. Beat them by 11 in the second half, and we got a 22-point win. That was it. That was it.
Coach, it's hard to come in here, watch Trey Burke, and not to be really impressed. What stood out to you about his performance?
Well, he's learning every day, and people are playing him differently every day. There's a lot of processing going on in that brain right now. He can handle it all, but I thought today he's just learning a lot of stuff. He got tired today. It's okay. He's learning. I wouldn't trade him for anyone.
Still undefeated at home. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Gus, back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dave. For Sean Morris, this is Gus Johnson saying so long from Ann Arbor, where once again the final score, Michigan 68, Indiana 56. You've been watching Big Ten Network basketball.